right, video's now running. No thanks to Windows. Dragging it, you need it and hurry up, and usually that's a quick computer, but today it's like, I don't feel like it today. I think I'll take my time just to tick you off so you can get you started off in a good mood. Anyway, the video is now running. You can get to it by going to our website at talk973.com. Top middle of the page is the link. If you're on a mobile device, YouTube will get you there. Put Mornings with the Leaderman, all one word, into the search. If you just need audio, the audio is always available online with your different platforms. We prefer TuneIn and iTunes because we know they work. Put WEEB into the search. Many other platforms will play us. And in the upper right-hand corner of our webpage is an icon that says Listen Live at talk973.com. One click of that and you're listening that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area. Well, more of the same muggies that we've been having. I looked at the long-term run last night on the computers, and it shows a week from Wednesday. We'll see a decent drop in the dew point levels down into the upper to mid-60s. But that's a long ways away. A lot can change between now and then, and that gets wiped off with the prediction. So don't pin your hopes on that one yet. It's too far away. But we shall see. Always looking for that ray of hope out there. Today and tomorrow are going to be really muggy. We might see a little drop on Thursday, but nothing to write home about. Partly cloudy today, scattered thunderstorms. You know the routine. It's the same every day. Partly cloudy, thunderstorms possible every day. We got a reduced chance of thunderstorms. We're in the 30% range for the next several days, so that factors in. So you might not see quite as many or as violent. And high today, 93, heat index 101. Same for tomorrow. And Thursday, heat index 96. Friday, 96. These are heat indexes. Saturday, Sunday, 93. And Monday, 92. But every time it gets into the 90s on the heat index, it shows up that way. So, anyway, our official highs will be in the low 90s to upper 80s throughout the period. Right now, around the Sand Hills, winds are calm, visibility 10 statute miles, pressure 3009, dew point. Oh, boy, at a non-refreshing 71. Humidity maxed out at 100%. Sunny 71 degrees. Currently here at Talk 97.3 FM 990AM WEEB. Online with the pilot, they have an article about the school board considering the bids for the next school, which will be the Aberdeen school. They had 6 bids, and J.M. Thompson out of Cary is the lowest bid. But there's so much that smells about all this, it just doesn't smell right. Now, I went to the Board of Education, I went to the commissioners, I went to the county management, and I told them, I said, we could get every 5th school free around here if you just would become your own general contractor. In other words, build it yourself. And it doesn't require massive overhead to do this. Most of the overhead's already in place on the county level. But you see, it just freaks them out. And don't fool yourself. The commissioners do have the final say on everything, but it's the staff that runs the government. That's the way it works. The commissioners offer guidance and direction and yes or no final answers, but the staff does the work. The staff makes the day-to-day, moment-to-moment decisions. And they always do things the same old way. And the same old way is, okay, we let the plans out to qualify bidders, and in other words, those can get bonded. And they come back with their bid and lay it down, and we consider it, and we take the lowest bid from a qualified bidder, who can then put up a bond, a performance bond, to build the school. Now, in this case, the lowest bidder won by $2,000. $2,000 on a, what was it, a $27.6 million bid. He fee was $2,000 lower. Now that just, can't prove it because I haven't gotten into it that deep, but that just reeks of collusion. These guys getting together and saying, okay, you're getting this job, you're getting this job, you're getting this job, and that, my friends, is against the law. Now, I can't say that he's done that, but it sure smells like it. And it smells like a bucket of fish like it. And you just don't come up that close on these types of bids because, you know, like I said, I was the largest home builder in the state for 14 years. And, yeah, I can pretty much tell you what a house costs out the top of my head. But, at the time. But, now, it just doesn't ring right. And I went to him, I said, if you become your own general contractor, well, you can whack 20% off the cost of these schools, just boom. Because I said, there are a lot of things that a contractor has to build into the cost of these schools. Number one, he won't get the discounts that you could get, meaning you're building it for the children. Discount. He's building it for a profit. This is the difference. So, and there are substitutions that a general contractor can make to the benefit of the school, meaning, okay, instead of maple design doors, we use Luan design doors. You know, if they both do the job and one's half the price of the other, guess what? We make a change, save money. You go to the supply houses and ask them to take a little less profit for the products because of what it's for. Not asking them to not take a profit, just a little break that we might not otherwise get.
As in a donation to the community.
Oh, I got you on the wrong thing there. Go say it again.
As in a donation to the community.
Yeah. And, you know, you might can trade off a plaque for it inside. Materials supplied by blah, 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 blah. But the town staff just rejected it outright, the idea. They said, wow, this is just like I threw, super cold water on their chest. They couldn't breathe. And they were going, well, we have to have a firm bid. I went, why? We have to know what the price is. I said, here's your price. You're going to get it at cost or below. That's as cheap as you can get it. Regardless of what the price is, it's cost or below. And they go, well, we wouldn't be able to get funding. Trust me, if the Moore County government is signing the note with the bank, they can get funding. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever, and they will get really good funding. I'm talking about down in the 1%, 2%, 3% range for this thing.
Because government can tax somebody to find the money.
They know they're going to get paid back. That's the thing. The bank knows that this is a 99.99999% chance of getting paid back. The only way they wouldn't if a nuclear bomb dropped on us. So they, it's a very secure loan, and so it gets good rates. But you see, it's different, and that's what the difference in bureaucracy and private enterprise is. J.M. Thompson Company is laughing all the way to the bank with an extra, let me do the math in my head, $6 million of your money that we could have kept and applied to the next school. But he's going to apply it to his hip pocket up in Cary. So the Cary economy gets to use that money, not us. It makes more sense just to build it ourselves and do it ourselves and save the money. But we just don't have a management team, I guess, that has the guts to give it a try. They always want to go down the safe road. Well, we take bids and we pick the lowest bid and we let them build it, and it's all done the super happy way we've always done it. Well, that will get you to the finish line, but it'll cost you $6 million more. Which would you rather have, your $6 million or the absolute safety of that? And like I said, that's not absolute safety. There's no guarantee J.M. Thompson couldn't go under tomorrow. And then you got a real mess on your hands.
Well, and how often does a government bid end up working out for the price it was bid?
Well, they always change orders. And that's another thing when they have, they do come up with a change order. These are such cookie cutter plans. They all look the same. Yeah, they added, and I wonder why it costs so much for the architectural when it's a cookie cutter plan of the previous one. We just stuck a few more feet on it. That's why you need private enterprise in there who will fight for the nickels and the dimes and the dollars to save us some money. Instead of doing it the same old way, which costs us the maximum amount of money we can possibly spend. And I'm telling you, when there's only $2,000 difference in the bids, somebody's talking to somebody. And I guarantee you, with collusion going on, he's getting the most profit out of it without really setting off the bells and whistles. The architect's saying, well, that's within the average cost of these buildings, so, it's a legit bid. But when there's only $2,000 different, it just reeks of collusion. In my book, I go find me some new bidders. See if I can get that price down. That's me. But they don't have to think that way. You go, well, taxpayers paying for it. Taxpayers paying for it. What difference does it make? It's kind of like when we had the jail being built. The good sheriff said that he knew at the time it was being built that the prisoners would be flushing the toilets and overflowing them. But you see, the taxpayer pays for it. He didn't bother to go look up and see if there was a solution to it, which had been out since 1997, to where it would prevent the flooding of cells by prisoners. And consequently, now we're spending, $500,000 putting it in.
Seems like it was something like that, yeah.
Some odd thousand to put it, I forget, it's a lot of money.
After spending the money for every year for the water overflow.
Which was just short of $50,000 a year in extra water cost. Because, hey, the taxpayers pay for it. What sweat is it of mine? That's the attitude that bureaucracy sets in. And that's the mindset that we need to change. And if elected, that's the mindset I will change. So, give me some consideration. Go to adamsforsheriff.com and check out that plan, and you'll see how much millions I will save you on the taxpayers there. In fact, I will make the sheriff department 100% free by the time I'm through to the taxpayer. And the whole plan's there. Starts out with our own crime lab, which is being done in other parts of the state. Cumberland County's doing it. Forsyth County's doing it, just to name two. And they're finding out, guess what? Oh, Steve was right. You can lower your inventory in your jailhouse by having your own crime lab, speeding up these trials so they don't take 2 years. You can get them to trial in 3 months. And it drastically reduced the cost of incarcerating prisoners. That's money saved in the taxpayer's pocket. Somebody actually cares about the taxpayer.
And that's the topic at the moment, but as you have pointed out so many times, it also speeds up justice. Those who are accused and those who are the victims of crime get justice much, much faster.
Well, you finally get justice. I was out of the dog park yesterday, and there was a big old puddle of windshield sitting on the ground where somebody had left a purse or whatever in their car, and some drug addict who needs to get his next high came by and busted out the windshield, snatched and grabbed the purse, and off he went. And it's happened more times than I can count out there. It's like chum in the water. And it's getting old. And this is the end result of our whole drug policy. Right now, without this crime lab, these drug dealers and drug pushers just wait out the system. They know it's going to take 6 months to 2 years to get the evidence back from the state. So in the meantime, they're back out on bond, and they're back in business. And they keep doing the same old thing. And what they're doing is they get their little kids hooked on this stuff, and the next thing And those kids are the ones out there busting your windows out. But it's the drug dealers and pushers that's fault for this. So little kids steal the money, bring it to the good old drug dealer. He gets busted ultimately, but he gets out on bond. And 6 months to 2 years later, we finally get him to trial. Actually, it'll be usually about 3 years, because the time to get the evidence back, it takes another year to get him to trial because of the delays and getting on the court docket, because the guy who tested the drugs in Raleigh has to be in our courtroom to testify. So those calendars have to get coordinated, and long story short, it takes about a year. And you get to trial. And by that time, with the high turnover rate we have at the Sheriff's Department, for other reasons, your witnesses probably aren't available. So the DA's hands tied behind her backs, and the best she can do in most cases is offer up a plea deal. And like she's also said that we don't have the time in the courts to try all these cases. So you offer up a plea deal, which is technically a conviction. But is it really the justice you paid for? Now, if you can get them in front of that judge in 3 months, the witnesses are there as long with the evidence, don't you think you get a little more convictions with justice laid out and not time served or probation and all this stuff? We need to get tough. We need to get tough on the dealers and the traffickers. And let them know we're just not going to put up with it anymore. And that's where having our own crime lab comes in, because then we can get to the offender in front of the judge within 3 months with the evidence and the witnesses and get justice. And then the judge can do what he thinks appropriate. But at least we do our part and get them there, instead of this 6 months to 2 years game that the drug dealers play with us. They just game the system. And we need to change the system so they can't game it. Just saying. At least that's my opinion. But this will reduce the cost of your incarceration by 74%. Instead of using up 160 to 170 cells that we're using right now, you'll be down to needing only 70 cells. The difference can be leased out. And that can generate millions and millions and millions of dollars to the taxpayer. Well, everybody says, we don't want all these violent criminals in our jails. Most of them are drug dealers that come in there, that lease these cells. You already have 12 murderers in there, alleged murderers, so it doesn't get much worse than that. It is a secure building, we'll give it that much, and nobody's going to be leaving unless they're supposed to. So, something to consider, and we hope that you'll give me some consideration. AdamsForSheriff.com is the website for that, and it's paid for by Adams for Sheriff. I had a man come up to me yesterday at the women's club that we've called out on the carpet before, and he says, you know, I was listening to you the other week, and you were talking about some political stuff, you know, and getting off into that area, and you didn't mention Adams for Sheriff. Paid for by Adams for Sheriff. I said, well, I'm very careful about that. I said, every time we start talking politics, the stopwatch starts rolling. And I said, Matt's sitting right there, too. And I said that every second is recorded, posted online for everybody to hear. And in there somewhere, I will say, paid for by Adams for Sheriff. Right, Matt?
Yeah, I think in all this time, I've had to say something one time. And just politics doesn't mean you have to go. There's a lot of politics out there that has nothing to do with the sheriff's race.
Well, he was just trying to goad me and say, yeah, I got you, you know. You better watch it, you know, I'm watching you. And I said, you're not going to get me, not on that. I said, I'm too transparent. Like I said, it's all online. You can check it out. Go listen for a day. All those podcasts.
And he's right, though. The country is much better now that you have to say Adams for Sheriff or Smith for Congress or whatever. It's a much safer, better country now that we have to say all that.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's work in a little bit of fun this morning. Latest ad from the California Tourism Board is here for us.
And now, a message from the California Tourism Board. struggling to control this fire.
California's wildfires.
Wildfire-weary California.
Massive inferno.
The wildfires in California.
A major disaster.
Strong winds, excessive heat, and bone-dry vegetation.
Never mind. I mean, if you do come, please bring water.
And you might want to bring shields so Antifa doesn't beat at you and stuff like that.
Yes, and if you're going to bring water, bring your own straw, please.
Yes.
You can use one of ours, but it gets damp and soggy within a couple of minutes, just like when you were a kid.
Must be a paper straw. Why did the paper straw go out?
Because of the plastic straw, because somebody found something much better. I always hated those damn paper straws as a kid.
I didn't mind them. I didn't ever have one to fail me.
Well, I'm not going to make any jokes.
Well, there's so much plastic out there that, eliminating straws is nothing. It's like clipping a toenail clipping off, and that's it. That's the whole pile of trash.
It's silly, and the pictures are going around. Starbucks was virtue signaling with all that. The pictures going around of their biodegradable straws in individually plastic-wrapped pouches. And then once you open the plastic to get your biodegradable straw out, you punch it through the hole in the plastic lid of your plastic cup. It's asinine.
All right, everything you want to know about the inside of them, we're going to go in reverse order today. Inside a male head. This is a few seconds inside a man's head. Episode number 58 is called High School Reunion.
And now it's time for another episode of A Few Seconds Inside a Man's Head.
Wow, look at everybody at the 25-year high school reunion. Whoa, who is that? Tara, give her most improved. She married a guy from our class? Who is that? She married Dirk? Dirk the jerk? Way to turn it around, Dirk. What can happen in 25 years?
And that was another episode of A Few Seconds Inside a Man's Head.
And now we'll go into the scary part of our universe. 1 minute inside a woman's head. This is episode number 473. It's called Bad Concert Experience.
And now it's time for another episode of 1 Minute Inside a Woman's Head.
Where are my seats for this concert? Oh, what? There are no seats? We just stand here? I thought it said floor seats on the website, but I guess it only said floor. Why not just say stand around area? I can't even see. Once again, I am behind a tall guy with a cowboy hat and the woo girls beside me. How do they yell woo the entire show? Should I record them and play it for them to let them know how obnoxious it is? I mean, the concert's pretty loud, but a screeching woo always penetrates my eardrums more than the music I have paid to see. And why waste our time with the encore? We all know it's coming. Just stay on stage and do the biggest hit. Then wrap it up. I used to have time for this stuff, but it's getting a little tired. Just like my legs. I wonder if he'll ever take that hat off.
And that was another episode of 1 Minute Inside a Woman's Head.
I rarely go to concerts. Last time I went was for my daughter. It was a Bon Jovi concert in Mannheim, Germany. And, we had
stood up the whole time.
We had to stand up the whole time.
Yeah. When I was a kid, The Who came to town.
It was a good concert, but,
Well, The Who came to town in Raleigh at Dorton Arena.
Who?
And you're allowed to bring your blanket, sit down on the floor, and watch the concert.
You didn't go to a long-hair hippie band?
Yes, I did. I went to several. And every time you were allowed to bring your blanket in and spread it out on the floor and sit down, which we did. And everybody sat there and enjoyed the concert. We didn't have to stand up the whole time trying to become the show, as I call it. You know how you have that one person's got to stand up and sing every song and I'm so uncontrolled, I can't help but sing the song with them, from the audience, and they got to stand up in front of you or in your line of sight.
It's called dropping acid, Steve.
And you go, sit the blank down. Come on. But no, but everybody came in, they behaved, they enjoyed the music, they clapped, and nobody was crawling over the back, across your back trying to get 1 inch closer.
Times change.
I had front seats to Rod Stewart at Reynolds Coliseum. And
Front seats or front
row seats. Front row seats. And I sat there and watched the concert and enjoyed it and everything else, and everybody behind me was all standing up. But since I had front row, I didn't have to have that problem.
Hey, man, who's the old fuddy-duddy in the front row?
I don't know, dude. Give him some smoke, man. Get him into this thing. You know, I was enjoying it my way. And so then at the end, when they finished and went off stage, you know, you have to clap, you get them back. You know, I stood and gave them a clapping, encore clap. They came back out, and I went to sit back down, somebody standing in my chair to get 1 inch closer. And I said, isn't worth it. I left. Maybe that's old fuddy-duddy.
That must have been a woman trying to get closer to Rod Stewart.
But one, you know, they just will scratch your eyeballs out to get 1 inch closer. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I do understand that it's dangerous to be in radio now. A masked man broke into a radio station in Wisconsin on Sunday morning and shot 3 hosts in the studio. One was hit in the buttocks. Well, he'll be fine. The president of the radio station talked to the media about this.
We don't know why. That's quite a concern of ours. We're not quite sure if it's a personal issue or a music issue.
You're well advised not to try that in this station.
Yeah, because we don't have a no gun policy here. It's well armed. So come and do that at your own peril.
Probably one of the best armed stations in the state, I would venture.
All right, coming up on 8 o'clock, 71 degrees here in the Sand Hills area. New sports and weather starts now.
Pretty typical summertime pattern out there. Heat, humidity, a chance for afternoon and evening storms. Chances do appear to be just slightly better tomorrow than they will be today. But both days, there's likely to be at least some activity out there. So for today, partly sunny, a slight chance of an afternoon or evening storm. Highs in the mid-90s, partly cloudy tonight, mid-70s, and partly sunny Wednesday with a little better chance of an afternoon or evening storm, and highs again getting up into the middle 90s. I'm Greg Fischel in the Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sand Hills, 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 PM, WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. It is the biggest wildfire in California history. The Mendocino Complex blaze north of San Francisco. It's charred more than 280,000 acres, destroyed scores of homes. Meanwhile, south of Los Angeles, firefighters have their hands full with a new blaze. It's exploding in the hot, dry conditions in Orange County. At President Trump's direction, economic sanctions on Iran, suspended under the nuclear deal, are now back in force. With the sanctions, an early morning tweet from the president, Mr. Trump writing that anyone doing business with Iran will not be doing business with the United States. The eyes of the political world are fixed on Ohio today. That's where voters are filling an open congressional seat in a race that's said to be unusually close.
Democrat Danny O'Connor running neck and neck with Republican Troy Balderson in a district that's been reliably Republican for 3 decades. President Trump winning it by double digits 2 years ago, but making a last-minute campaign stop this past weekend to boost Balderson's chances. He also has the backing of Ohio Governor John Kasich, who held the seat for nearly 18 years.
That's Capitol Hill correspondent Wally Hines. Also today, primary voting in 4 states. Day after coming face-to-face in federal court with his longtime boss, Rick Gates returns to the witness stand today as the government's key witness in the financial fraud trial of former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort. The West Hollywood City Council unanimously approving a resolution seeking removal of President Trump's star from the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce tells the LA Times the chamber has never removed a star because it's considered part of the walk's historic fabric. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures are up 81 points, NASDAQ futures 17 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The
following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
It's probably been about 10 years ago. I had quite a few credit cards. The interest on the cards was really high. I was making the minimum payments, but barely. And it was just getting to be too much, so I called Trinity.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976 to talk to a certified counselor.
They met with me, and they were able to get all of my credit cards in one lower payment.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
They did help me learn how to manage my money. Now, we have a house, and we're doing a lot better.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Holly, and I am debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
Australia's population has hit 25 million for the first time.
Big or small, the debate about population in Australia is divisive. There is an argument that because of stagnant wages, congestion and unaffordable housing, immigration should be scaled back. The government, however, has said that new settlers boost the economy. The largest number of migrants come from India and China. Australia is reaching the 25 million person milestone, almost a quarter of a century earlier than predicted, in a prominent government report published in 2002.
The BBC's Phil Mercer. The Russian Prime Minister warning an attempt by NATO to incorporate the former Soviet Republic of Georgia could trigger a new horrible conflict. Dmitry Medvedev says NATO's plans to eventually offer membership to Georgia are absolutely irresponsible and a threat to peace. News and analysis at townhall.com. New study finds patients who received kidney transplants from donors with hepatitis C were able to overcome the disease.
It was a bold experiment with a very small group of patients so desperate for a kidney transplant, they agreed to get organs infected with hepatitis C. So far, it was the right move. Researchers say those organs for about 20 patients are working well, thanks to medication that eliminated the virus. They say the results suggest that diseased organs that are currently going to waste might be used to reduce the wait for people who need a transplant. I'm Jackie Quinn.
A man who narrowly escaped from a mosque had collapsed during an earthquake in Indonesia on Sunday evening. Says there were about 100 people inside when the quake struck. And while many did get out, he says dozens were buried in the rubble. The death toll on the island of Lombok has risen to at least 105. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Donuts so heavenly you'd think they were made by angels. Southern Angel Donut Company is now open for your heavenly pleasure in Olmsted Village, behind the First National Bank. Sarah and the Angels are up daily at 3 a.m., making donuts the old-fashioned way, preparing holy taste bud delights like the maple bacon donut or their special apple fritters. And hey, Southern Angel Donuts make great business icebreakers, because who doesn't like a great donut? Give Southern Angel Donuts a try today. Open 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily.
This is Chuck from Sunbelt Service Pros. Are you just not feeling it anymore with your AC service provider? Are you calling those guys because that's what you've always done, or because there's a sticker on the thermostat with an old phone number on it? How about this? Take a chance and you'll be thrilled to find that you're getting real value for your heating and cooling dollars. When you call Sunbelt Service Pros, you are dealing with a professional and reliable service provider. Our technicians are highly trained and certified and can quickly address any issues. Our customers find our technicians and office staff courteous, friendly, and professional throughout the whole process. We're doing something right here. You need to check us out, find out what you've been missing, and call us today. Sunbelt Service Pros at 910-944-2044 or go online to sunbeltservicepros.com.
Fields Plumbing and Heating has served Moore County since 1948. Actually, the founder, J. Ellis Fields, started in the business as a boy in 1907 with Pinehurst Inc., who provided plumbing and heating services to Pinehurst homes and local hotels. Today, Fields Plumbing and Heating continues to provide superior heating service, plumbing technology, and customer service at the best possible price. When you need help, call the company with the most experience. Fields Plumbing and Heating, 910-949-3232. 949-3232.
This is your Liberty Health Minute. I'm Steve Siddall. Well, it's no secret that this year's flu vaccine was not as effective as in years past. And that begs the question, why didn't it work? Some experts say it's because the vaccine was produced as it has been for 70 years using chicken eggs. The problem, they say, flu virus, which is intentionally placed in the eggs, mutates. Therefore, it isn't the same virus which caused the flu this year. So, what can we do? Well, we posed that question to Medical Director at the Youth Institute and best-selling author, Dr. Greg Brannon. So, Doctor, what can we do? That seems awfully scary.
Yes, you think about it. The CDC predicts a year in advance what flu they're going to put in there. They put in 2 A's and 1 B. How many times have they gotten it right? Never. It's never got the right actual mix of what it is. And oh, by the way, it does not just mutate within the chicken embryo itself. It also mutates in the vial while it's being stored. Now, what's also in the flu vaccine? Mercury, aluminum. In fact, the aluminum in there is actually 25 times higher than the EPA recommends to be exposed to. Are they talking to each other? It's insane. You have formaldehyde, a known cancer agent. You have all these aspects. So what's important to understand is, can our body defend? There's a great study showing that just 5,000 IUs of vitamin D a day actually decreases the flu in that season 800%. Our body's amazing. It's built to thrive, not to survive. I'd love to have more detail with you. And for more about you individuals, we're offering a 30-minute consult and a free copy of our book, Stay Forever Young, $109 value for the first 10 callers or texters.
Boy, take advantage of this, gang. 800-351-8836. That's the number to call. 800-351-8836. The next 10 callers. Better yet, just text Liberty to 21,000. That's Liberty, L-I-B-E-R-T-Y, to 21,000.
MCN News. I'm Mike Rayleigh. The star witness in Paul Manafort's fraud trial will testify again this morning after telling jurors he and Manafort broke the law together. Rick Gates, a former deputy chairman of the Trump campaign, became its first senior official to admit criminal activity under oath. Paula Reed is outside the courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia.
This trial, the first big public test for the special counsel, has nothing to do with President Trump or his campaign. But investigators uncovered evidence of possible crimes while investigating Russian meddling in the 2016 campaign. And some of the alleged bank fraud occurred while Manafort was chairman of the Trump campaign.
A Wake County Superior Court will hear a request today from a coalition to prevent the state legislature from placing 4 constitutional amendments on the November ballot. June Blotnick with Clean Air Carolina says the language used in those proposed amendments could easily mislead voters.
The ballot measures are something a lot of people don't even pay attention to. The language that's proposed for these ballot measures is not very clear.
Northern California is grappling with the largest wildfire in California history, breaking a record set only months ago. Jim Steele is a local board supervisor for Lake County and says the fire is a monster.
This fire was dictating where it went. The fire was in command. And these folks were just reacting. They were not in charge of the fire. Just the opposite of what we used to see in the old days.
A woman died after being rushed to the hospital early today after firefighters rescued her from a burning home in Lincolnton. She was taken to the hospital, but officials say she did not survive. Her name has not been released. A suspected drug dealer is behind bars on $1 million bond. Greenville police arrested Maurice Johnson of Greenville on Monday. He's charged with trafficking opium or heroin, maintaining a vehicle dwelling, place for a controlled substance, and possession with intent to sell marijuana. You're listening to NCN News.
Hey football fans, the wait is over. The 2018 ACC Football Preview Magazine is out on newsstands right now. Get your football fix before the season kicks off with predictions from the experts, recruiting news, and rankings of the best ACC players and teams. No other magazine dedicates 10 pages to each ACC school, each jam-packed with stats and information. Want a copy shipped to you? Order your copy today by going to accsports.com and clicking on the Football Preview banner.
Darlington Raceway. This is tradition.
The white flag flies for Bobby Allison.
This is iconic.
Petty appears to be smoking, and Gale now is pulling away.
This is legendary.
Truex is at the wall, and it's Hamlin going to the lead.
Come celebrate 7 decades of NASCAR at Darlington Raceway this Labor Day weekend. Purchase your tickets today by calling 866-459-RACE or visit darlingtonraceway.com.
South Carolina is just right.
A
pregnant 18-year-old woman died last night after a shooting in High Point. The woman's unborn child also died. Anastasia Ray and her unborn child are the 11th and 12th persons killed in High Point in 2018. Having your home foreclosed by mistake? It happened to about 400 Wells Fargo customers over a 5-year period. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger explains.
What likely occurred is that underwater homeowners applied for a mortgage modification under the government's Home Affordable Modification Program. And when they did that, this software incorrectly dinged them from getting that modification. And in 400 cases, we know, led to the foreclosure process. What we don't know is whether those homeowners would have been able to maintain their homes anyway.
The town of Emerald reported 84 people were rescued from the beaches during an 11-day stretch from July 22nd and this past weekend. Lifeguards like Brandon Jones have been extremely busy.
I'm hoping that the wind dies down, or we get a change of direction in wind, and so that, you know, we won't be bombarded with calls, and maybe the lifeguards and fire department can get a break.
Leading scientists have a sober warning about climate change.
An assessment of all known data to date suggests several of the global weather systems that keep our planet in climatory equilibrium have been disrupted. Co-author Johan Rockström.
When do we reach a point when the planet, which has so far been our best friend, tip over into becoming a foe, which would self-reinforce and warm the planet?
The scientists' best guess, mankind has about 30 years to prevent an irreversible chain reaction of non-stop global warming and catastrophic sea level rises. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
Looks like plenty of heat, plenty of humidity around the next couple of days, at least, with a chance of afternoon and evening thunderstorms. Doesn't look like anything widespread, but where the thunderstorms occur, they can produce a lot of lightning and a lot of heavy rain. Forecast for today, partly sunny, hot and humid, a slight chance of an afternoon or evening storm, highs in the mid-90s. Tonight, partly cloudy, mid-70s. Wednesday, partly sunny, hot and humid, a little better chance of an afternoon storm in mid-90s. I'm Greg Fischel in the Weather Center.
Right now here in the Sand Hills, we're up to 75 degrees, sunny skies, humidity 94%, 2.73, pressure 3012, winds west of 3, visibility 10 statute miles. 8:14, let's take a look at your Sand Hills news for this Tuesday morning. Topping the news, the contractor now at work building a school on Camp Easter Road has also pitched the lowest price to build the new Aberdeen Elementary School, the first of 3 new schools that will be funded with general obligation bonds approved by the Moore County voters earlier this year. The Board of Education reviewed the 6 bids for the Aberdeen project during a work session on Monday. A $27.6 million bid from J.M. Thompson Company of Cary was the lowest by all of $2,000. Like all 4 new elementary schools scheduled to open in the next 3 years, Aberdeen Elementary will be an 800-student K-5 school. But the low bid for the Aberdeen project was too close to the $27.7 million budget cost for school officials' comfort, as the projections included a $720,000 contingency fund. At about 118,000 square feet, the school is 4,000 feet larger than the school currently in progress, which J.M. Thompson is building for $25.3 million. Per square foot, the Aberdeen bid represents a 5% cost increase since Camp Easter Road project was bid last November. And a cameraman is accused of sexually assaulting a child in West End. Connor Orion Bradley, 21, is charged with indecent liberties with the minor. He was arrested and placed in the Moore County Detention Center under a $10,000 bond. And an Eagle Springs man was sentenced Thursday to 1 year and a day in prison, to be followed by 3 years supervised release for his role in the dogfighting activities. Braxton Rendell Lloyd, 54, pled guilty to 1 felony count of conspiracy and 2 felony counts of possession and training a dog intended for use in an animal fighting venture. contrary to the animal fighting provisions of the Federal Animal Welfare Act, according to authorities with the United States Department of Justice. That's your latest Sand Hills news this morning. But stand by, here comes your latest in sports. And a reminder, coming up in just a few moments, we got Coach Chris Metzger, head football coach at Pinecrest High School, will be our special in-studio guest.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. The Houston Astros were within 1 out of a loss before moving 4.5 games ahead of Oakland in the AL West. Marwin Gonzalez unloaded a 3-run homer off Will Smith to give the Astros a 3-1 win over the Giants in San Francisco. The Giants, they now trail the NL West by 6 games. In other action on Monday, the Indians own a 10-game lead in the AL Central. Edwin Encarnacion belted one of the Indians' 4 home runs in a 10-0 blowout of the second-place Twins. Lance Lynn was terrific for the Yankees in a 7-0 shutout of the White Sox. New York's 9 games behind the AL East leading Red Sox and ahead of the A's by 3 games for the first wildcard berth. The Mariners beat the Rangers 4-3-12 to get within 2 games of Oakland for that second AL wildcard spot. David Peralta's second home run of the night gave the Diamondbacks a 3-2 win in 14 innings. It was a comeback over the Phillies. Arizona's pacing the NL West by a half game over the Dodgers, and the Phillies lead the NL East by 1 game over the Braves. 13 football players at UNC will miss up to 4 games during the upcoming season. That because they sold team-issued shoes, which is a violation of NCAA regulations. Head coach Larry Fedora on Monday said the students knew better.
I'm extremely disappointed by our players' actions and how those actions reflect on them and our program, our department, and the university.
The list of players suspended includes sophomore starting quarterback Chad Surratt. He's suspended for 4 games. Defensive end Malik Carney was the only one of the suspended players who spoke with reporters after the school's announcement yesterday.
It was a moment I wasn't really thinking about the consequences. I made a wrong decision, and it's not really about me at this point. It's about the guys, making sure my teammates are still up and they're still doing the right things that they need to do so they compete and still reach our goals.
Carney joins Surratt on a list of 9 players who have to sit out 4 games. 2 others will miss 2 games, and then the final 2 will be forced to sit out just 1 contest. This is NCN Sports.
Darlington Raceway. This is tradition.
The white flag flies for Bobby Allison.
This is iconic.
Petty appears to be smoking, and Cale now is pulling away.
This is legendary.
Truex is at the wall, and it's Hamlin going to the lead.
Come celebrate 7 decades of NASCAR at Darlington Raceway this Labor Day weekend. Purchase your tickets today by calling 866-459-RACE or visit darlingtonraceway.com.
South Carolina is just right.
Sometimes the simplest things can make the biggest difference. An extra pair of hands, a smile, or a shoulder. At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we feel the same about home and auto coverage, affordable rates, trusted service, and local agents. After all, making one simple difference in your life helps you make a big difference in another's. Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
NASCAR Chairman Brian France has taken a leave of absence from his position as Chairman and CEO to focus on what he called personal affairs. Police say France's blood alcohol content was more than twice the legal limit when he was arrested in the Hamptons over the weekend on DUI charges and criminal possession of oxycodone. Police say the 56-year-old France, late Sunday night, early Monday morning, smelled of booze and slurred his words during a traffic stop in Sag Harbor. Ironic. UCLA has landed forward Sharif O'Neal, the son of retired NBA great Shaquille O'Neal, signed a grant-in aid to attend UCLA this fall. Bruins coach Steve Alford says the 6'10", 220-pounder will bring a terrific combination of size, skill, and athleticism. Let's hope he can shoot free throws. Josh and Zach, NCN Sports.
Phew, it's not the heat, it's the humidity. And that same stifling humidity is in your home's crawl space. A dirt crawl space with open vents is a never-ending source of moisture, which circulates throughout your home. Dust mites, mold, pests, and wood rot all thrive on moisture. These are all good reasons to have a crawl space dehumidifier, not to mention comfort and energy efficiency. Contact Aberdeen Exterminating to learn more about the benefits of Sierra Global Dehumidifiers. Call 944-2474. That's 944-2474.
Learn, engage, and belong at Sandhills Community College. We offer 5 university studies transfer degrees and have special 2+2 arrangements with colleges in many of our technical programs, all leading to your bachelor's degree. Or if you want a new career in a shorter amount of time, we have training in healthcare, manufacturing, and technical fields. Fall semester begins August 15th. Apply today at sandhills.edu and be prepared to learn, engage, and belong.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. I was reading an article in the paper, one I still read, about the Charlotte School of Law. It's a good example of why we have to be careful where we put our education dollars. The article was discussing the fact that not a single one of their law students had passed the bar exam on the first try that period. The Charlotte School of Law has less than a 10% pass rate. Statewide average is 43%. They charge their students more than $40 grand a year. Department of Education cut them off. They had to shut down. Did you ever hear of anyone brag about graduating from the Charlotte School of Law? You ever see anyone proudly display their Charlotte School of Law diploma? I doubt it. Might as well have sold bait. Actually has a ring to it. Charlotte School of Law and bait. Violin lessons in the rear. It's no fun to make fun of these kids that got ripped off. I'm not sure it was their fault. But you know what? I want to use it as an example to explain I'm happy to support education, and I have, and I continue to do so. I just want the persons who are running things to do the same. It's gotten to the point where you can't discuss the issue of being a good steward with education money without being accused of being against education. See if you can get behind this. Spend our school money wisely. Don't become another Charlotte School of Law. How can anyone object to that? Thanks. From the Zumwalt Zone.
Pretty typical summertime pattern out there. Heat, humidity, a chance for afternoon and evening storms. Chances do appear to be just slightly better tomorrow than they will be today. But both days, there's likely to be at least some activity out there. So for today, partly sunny, a slight chance of an afternoon or evening storm. Highs in the mid-90s, partly cloudy tonight, mid-70s, and partly sunny Wednesday with a little better chance of an afternoon or evening storm, and highs again getting up into the middle 90s. I'm Greg Fischel in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills #1 morning show. Mornings with the leader man. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
Good morning. Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And in the studio with us again this year for our little pregame activities, Coach Chris Mesker, head football coach for Pinecrest High School. And Coach, this year, of course, you had last Friday night, you had your Midnight Madness out there at Pinecrest High School, and you introduced all your players to the public, as well as run a little full body armor practice. Tell us how that went.
Oh, it was amazing. Well, first and foremost, just a huge thanks to our unbelievable community, which came out in full force, our unbelievable Patriot Nation, our super fans, our parents. It was a huge crowd. The kids appreciated that. A lot of coffee was served from the concession stand, and it went really well. The kids competed for an hour and a half. I mean, it was nonstop, fast-paced from goal line to live special teams to 2-minute to situational. And once again, we were really proud of the kids' effort. Obviously, there's a lot of work to do. That's the first time they've gone full scale, so they've been running and lifting and passing and whatnot since November. But that was the live action. And, you know, from your playing days, it's a totally different beast when it's full contact. But came away with a lot of depth, a lot of kids that have a lot of potential. Today, kids got after it, did a great job. It was very, very, very hot with high humidity. But another great day. And the kids just get 1% better every day. That's what we ask of ourselves as coaches and the whole coaching staff and of our players.
Well, I know this weather's got to be working on you. How do you compensate for that? Because there's no getting used to this.
No, but I think our kids, you know, the big thing with us is we ask the kids, what do you do with the other 19 hours? Because between team meeting, films, lifting, and practice, they're basically at Pinecrest for 5 hours. So what are you doing with your other 19 hours? Are you drinking water? Are you eating right? Are you stretching? Are you icing? And that's really the difference. Are they doing those little things? Because every team in the state runs and lifts and trains you around, but are they doing the extra little things to help their body stay healthy?
Might point out that the state rules don't allow teams to have full contact until the very first year part of August. Until then, they can't do that.
The 6th day of practice, so at midnight, Friday night, Saturday morning was our 6th day, so it was pretty special.
So let's talk about the team this year, what you saw at practice. Of course, you got a lot of rising help coming up. Van Steen still in there as quarterback.
Yes, sir.
And tell us about his status and how things are looking on the offensive side.
Well, offensively, Greg is back to lead us, and Greg is, a young man that's been training since he was in the 4th grade for this moment. This is his 2nd year at the helm, and he's doing a great job leading, and he's made tremendous progress, whether it's his size, his strength, and his leadership. In the backfield, we have Zathan Hill and Corey Patterson returning. Both those guys, Zathan went over 1,000 yards. Corey had about 700. Great leaders. Great kids. Alex Roberts, who was also the 3-headed monster back, we've moved to receiver full-time, but he is also eligible and able to play running back as well. And then behind them, we have senior Yatil Shields, juniors Nick Bollinger, and then junior Anthony Martin. At receiver, we've got a lot of competition. You've got seniors Alex Roberts. You've got senior Moses Prince, who's never played football, came out from the basketball team and has done a great job. Senior Champ Lindahl, who's doing a great job. You've got Christian Elliott, Connor Buss out there that are all seniors and working really hard. And then you've got a ton of juniors. On the O-line, there's tremendous competition. We graduated tight end to tackle last year, every snap. Mm-hmm. And right now, Taylor Gaskins and Michael Chance are kind of at the lead at the tackle position. At the center, we've got Jake Bialer. At the guards, we've got just an army of young men. Devin Armstrong, Caleb Jones, Gabe Jones, Caleb Rodriguez, Jalen Crawford. So a lot of guys that are battling for those spots. At tight end, we have 2 seniors, James Buck and Jonah Rossi. Those 2 guys are kind of at the head of that. And then you've got Brody King, who will be the junior. And there's a lot of depth.
You got to be feeling good about the depth.
Well, we do. They're inexperienced, and the only way you get experience is to get experience, and that's what we're trying to do between Friday night and today, and then Wednesday when we have our 5-team scrimmage from 8 to 11. But offensively, the guys are doing a great job. We definitely feel good about Greg and his command of the triple option offense. And, the key for us on offense is to, just secure the ball. I mean, studies show if you secure the ball, you got a chance. And we've just been really encouraged by those guys. Backing up Greg will be 2 sophomores, Ben Garbark, and then you've got Braxton Barber, who are kind of pushing for that lead backup row. So overall, just really encouraged by all the kids.
Any backup quarterback, because you never know.
Well, Ben Garbark and Braxton Barber are the 2 backup quarterbacks that are kind of battling. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Zathan knows a little bit if we needed him as well.
Yeah, he used him a little bit last year.
Yeah, and that Wildcat. So we've got him a little bit. So there's some pretty good depth on the offense. Obviously, you've got some guys that have some tremendous experience that really had great years last year that we're expecting big things from, but we also need to, make sure we keep them healthy.
I know you're not going to tip your hand to what you're running, but last year you tended to be pretty much a ground game team. What about this year?
Well, we have a philosophy, bend but not break defense, play great special teams, and ball control offense. And that's not to say if they're playing man-to-man and we think we got an open matchup, we're not going to pass the ball. But we like to run the football. Mm-hmm. In modern-day football, especially at the high school level, you don't see that as much. In our conference, you do. It's a black and blue conference. Yeah. But we like to run the football and control the clock. And but we've definitely this year feel pretty confident, and the guys we have splitting out that they can go get the ball if need be.
So you pretty much going to be a mixed bag this year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We always we might tweak things, but the old adage, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And so we feel like that the kids have done a great job. The assistant coach has done a great job tweaking things.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit of defense, that side of the ball. What's on the line there? Because, first of all, you lost your defensive coach.
Well, I tell you what, we're just so excited for Coach Murchison. What a great opportunity. He's in county down the road, and just a great opportunity to lead a program took over for another former assistant. But not only that, but just for the, financial implications for him and his family are phenomenal. Same thing for Coach Powell. But what we did defensively is Coach Martin had been with us. He was formerly the head coach and defense coordinator at Athens Drive. He had been with us a few years. He's taken over coaching the inside linebackers with Curtis Holt. And then a young man, Freezy Smalls, is the co-defense coordinator, and he came over from Jack Britt. But defensively, you have some familiar faces. Shamik Reeves and Zaheem Kelly are back in the defensive backfield. There's Philip Roberson, Grant Mabe, T.J. Gaddy, and sophomore Giorgio Nam. All those guys are battling for those spots back there. At the inside linebacker spot, you've got returner Jacob DePauli, who had a great year, and then you've got junior Levi Bear and Max Parkins and Felipe Vallejo are all battling for that other spot and doing a great job. At the outside linebacker, it's been interesting. We moved Garrett Kearse, tight end, moved him back to outside linebacker, and he's kind of coming to the forefront of that crew. You've got senior Brandon Haskell at inside and outside. Then you've got a bunch of young guys, Jalen Daly, who had some significant snaps last year. Nick Garbark had significant snaps, Jacob Lawson. So you got a lot of competition, more so, and it's really going to come down to the wire. We had a big scrimmage today. We're going to grade, and then Wednesday we scrimmage for other teams. At the D-line, you have Aiden Austin and Rodney Evans, who are going to be 3-year starters, who have done a great job and are at the lead of that. And then you've got a bunch of guys. You've got junior Jate Storr, you've got senior Ryan Sloan, Jake Slusher, John Donahoe, and Nick Tyner. So, we like to rotate that D-line, and those guys are doing a great job. And this offseason has been huge for us. Our kids, our theme this year is unity. And all we got to do is look at our country, our community, and everything, so that's important. But for us, it's important that we're unified. The boys read a book. We did a book club, How to Win in the Locker Room First, the 7 C's to a successful football program, business, family, team. And we've done a lot of things, a lot of activities that focus on culture and being contagious positively. One of the things we talk about is, being a vitamin C and not a germ. Being an encourager. So that's important to us. And people say, what's that got to do with high school football? We're all about champions in the game of life, but B, every study shows someone's going to perform better if they're encouraged. They're going to perform better if they think there's people around that really love them and believe in them. Right. And so the kids have done a phenomenal job of that. And we've given them a lot of leadership opportunities, whether it's warm-ups or in the weight room, you're doing the command weights, whether it's in the community. We've got some guys over there at the food bank cleaning up today, had guys working on the Habitat House Saturday, and the guys understand how important it is to be in a community that supports them so well.
Well, let's, by the way, we're talking with Coach Chris Mesker, head football coach at Pinecrest High School. Your first game coming up in less than 2 weeks, 2 Fridays from now, against E.A. Laney down there in Wilmington. You got only 4 home games this year. I heard you were working on trying to get Grays Creek to come here, but that didn't work out.
Here's what happened. So Laney was supposed to be, it's our endowment game, it's supposed to be 2 years at home.
Right.
And they got some new administration, didn't want it to happen, so we, our school administration agreed. We had 3 years ago when we saw Richmond and Scotland, they sent the conference schedule out. We're at home, our administration, which makes sense, felt like those were going to be big games, so we needed to kind of have more home games last year than this year. So if you took the Laney game, it'd be 5 and 6. But our mantra with the guys is road warriors. Let's go out on the road. Let's do what we can. Let's get after it. And anytime, anywhere, any place. And what I mean by that is we tell the kids it's not about them, it's about us. Now, we're going to prepare. We're going to let them see what the other team's running. But if we do our jobs as coaches and as individuals and work together, then we're going to have an opportunity. And that's the way we kind of communicate with the kids.
Well, you got the first 3 games away. First, E.A. Laney, Grace Creek, and Hillside. Tell us about those teams right quick.
Well, E.A. Laney ended up going 8-5 last year. We beat them the first game of the season, and then they kind of rattled off some pretty big wins. They return a bevy of skilled kids. Shedrick Sidbury being the one who's the D1 guy, but they return some guys that have some big playability. They're always athletic, always well coached. They always seem to peak at the end of the season, so we're hoping that they're not peaking. Grace Creek was extremely young last year, had a little bit of a challenging year, but Coach Lovett, who's a former Mark Lawrence assistant at Scotland, started the program at Grace Creek. Perennially, they win 8 to 10 games a year. Had a little bit of a rough year last year. They returned a lot of guys, very disciplined wing T team. Hillside obviously was picked being the running for the state last year. Started out a little bumpy, beat New Bern, lost a heartbreaker to Scotland, lost a heartbreaker to us. and then had some tough situations. They returned a bevy of guys, and obviously we're not going to sneak up on them. Last year we kind of snuck up on them.
Then you got Providence, which we had that game won but lost it at the last minute.
30 seconds left. Yes. Bradley Bowles is a great friend, former college coach. His office coordinator is his dad, who's a retired college coach. They are as well prepared, as well-coached team as you'll find. They return a bevy kids. Got a lot of transfers up in Charlotte. You know, it seems like people are transferring schools.
You guys are still the same quarterback?
Yes, sir.
Because he was a good quarterback.
Yep. So they're going to come here, our first home game, senior night, and be extremely challenging. So there's no doubt, you know.
I'm just glad I don't have to drive to Charlotte again.
Yes, sir. But there's no doubt. You look at our schedule, top to bottom. It's it's extremely tough.
Then you got 71st away, and of course Richmond at home.
71st. Coach McLaurin. I mean, they're 10-11 win team every year. Physical, run the football, athletic. It's kind of similar to us. You know what you're going to give, but you got to stop it. And they're, a lot of people say them, Scotland and Richmond, it's those three, and then the rest of us in the conference. But obviously our focus is one game at a time. But they return a bevy of players, and Coach McLaurin does a great job.
Richmond.
Favorite to win it. They got that rising sophomore Division I quarterback, a ton of speed everywhere. Coach Till has come in there and really established a program. They do a great job. We didn't see them this summer, but heard, a lot of reports about them at 7-on-7s and stuff. Something like they've got 50 guys running between 4.4 and 4.7 40. So speed's going to be a factor with them, and they're well coached. And, I mean, football's pretty important down there.
And Purnell Sweat.
Coach Sherman is going into his third year. Each year they've gotten better. He feels like they're ready to take the next step. They have a Division I receiver in the Brady Boy kid who's committed to Elon. They're young, but they've got a lot of weapons returning.
One of the teams that seems to be undervalued and has been building pretty strong, Lumberton.
Yeah, they brought in Coach Williamson, who's brought a lot of excitement. He had started a football program at Dillon Christian, South Carolina, won some state championships there. Came from West Brunswick High School, and there's a great air about them. They returned Braylon Grice, who's a 4-year starter quarterback, all conference, Division I offers, and just a bevy of skilled kids, the Breeden kid, the receiver, defensive back. So, they're feeling good about what things they have going on as well.
And then probably it's going to be the biggest game of the season for us against Scotland. They, for the first time in many years, Zamir White will not be there. He's down in Georgia. And their weak defense is going to be their Achilles heel, in my opinion, anyway.
Well, here's what we've heard. They've got Shaheem McQueen back. They call him Smiley, who's a Division I running back. Right. A lot of people forget they had him. Right. They've got the Wall kid back, who is a Division I receiver. They're going to have him play quarterback. He was their go-to receiver last year. And it's Scotland High School. I mean, their JV team lost one game, and that was to Richmond.
I know they're going to be tough.
Yeah, and,
but you feel like you got a better fighting chance without a...
They're going to have some guys going both ways.
Running back in the country.
Right. Well, they're going to have some guys going both ways because they have, they've got plenty of numbers, but they feel like they have some special guys in certain spots. So, never discount them. Obviously, you got a team that's just come from the state championship, so winning's a part of them.
All right, and right quick, Jack Brett and Hoke.
Jack Brett, probably one of the most complete games we played in a while last year when we upset them. Coach Randolph is a former Richard Bailey assistant from all the years they were going to the state championship. They returned some guys, good skill guys, same quarterback, and it's Jack Brett. They're used to winning. Hope County, new coach, Coach Smalls, who was a 38-year college coach, had been a college head coach, played in the NFL. Very nice man. Met him yesterday at the media day, and they feel good about what they've got coming back. There's an extreme structure, extreme discipline. The kids are buying in, the community's buying in, and they feel really good about the turn they're making.
All right. When people come out, your first home game will be September 7th. When people do come out, what do you think when they're sitting in the stands? What's the one impression you think they'll have?
Discipline.
Different this year.
Discipline. Extremely disciplined. They're going to be able to see the kids really care about each other, and I think the kids do every year. Not saying they don't. We've been so blessed. It's our 12th season. But I think they're going to see kids that really care about each other, kids that are disciplined. and kids that have bought in. I mean, if you're in your 12th year, the kids haven't bought in, you got some issues. And they bought in, and they understand the challenge. There's a difference. Sometimes we can be unrealistic. They understand the challenge ahead of them. You know, they've been around, and they know what it's going to take.
Well, if there anything else that you want us to know that I haven't asked this morning?
We've got a really good long snapper in Garrett Karras.
The kicking game.
Garrett Karras. Our kicker and punter is Cameron Hadavoon. At punter, his backup will be T.J. Gadley, who's done a really good job. His backup at kicker will be Bruce McFadden, who's a young guy doing a good job. And
what will be our field goal range this year?
Well, 40 in. You know, you hear the name Maples and you get spoiled. Guys yelling 50-yarders, but
63.
Yeah, 63. Oh yeah. So, but definitely 40 in and consistent, and just continue to get more confident in himself.
Well, good. All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate you coming in and talking to us this morning. We wish you the greatest success this season. And, of course, you can hear every game right here on Talk 97.3 FM and 104 FM and 990 AM WEEB. And our first game again is going to be starting on a week from Friday. And the pregame will start at 6:50 and the kickoff will be at 7:30. And that will be the format all year long unless there's a move. I believe... there's one game that starts at 7 o'clock. I have to look it up again. But we'll keep you posted every week as to when the game starts. But, of course, we've been doing it for, this will be our 48th year, I believe it is, doing the Pinecrest Sports, since we're the flagship station for Pinecrest Sports for that long a period. So, well, since 1969 when they first opened. It's always been right here on Talk 97.3 FM. 104.1 FM and 990 AM WEEB. All right, it is 8:42 past the hour. Let's move on to rim shots this morning, see how we fare with that.
Hey, Steve, I want to remind people that there may be atmospheric things or whatever interfering with one broadcast, but, if you're listening to the FM side, you can switch over to the AM side, 990 AM, for example.
Well, let me explain that a little more in that on our 97.3 FM, that's a directional antenna. The FM band is so crowded these days, and finding a frequency that you can get licensed is tough. And 2 years ago, when we put 97.3 on the air, we could do so only by putting directional. We use what's called a 3-gain antenna. It's pointed toward Pinehurst. So Pinehurst just really won't affect you. But toward Highway 211, going toward Hogue, that's kind of the line that we're not allowed to cross. And so we have what's called parasites on the back of the antenna that keeps the signal from going too far in that direction. And in the mornings when the atmosphere is like it is, particularly with a lot of cloud cover, you get a lot of skip of FM signals that skip in here, and these flamethrowers from Elizabeth City and down at the beach where they got all that water reflecting signal too. They come skipping in here right on top of us sometimes, particularly in the morning, and it tends to go away as the day progresses. But we're going to have an engineer come in and tweak our pattern a little bit, see if we can at least get our area covered. Now, we always suggest you flip over to 104.1. Now that it's on the air, it's non-directional, and it doesn't have those limitations. And in some cases, depending on the car manufacturer's radio, a lot of that has to do with how well you pick up anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Toyota makes a real good radio. We're always on AM, don't forget that, 990 AM. I know everybody likes FM, but AM has got high quality too, because really there aren't that many AM stations out there crowding up the band. But depending on your radio as to how much technology is on that AM side, but unlike Toyota, and when I had my Toyota, I could go all the way to Raleigh and hear 990, no sweat. I got to Raleigh, there was a station up there on 1000 that tended to bleed over. But we covered 23 counties with that AM signal. That's 10,000 watts during the day. So don't discount that. You can always flip over there and hear it. And it should come in loud and clear in our county. anywhere in our county if you have a decent radio. So don't forget, don't write that one off. FM-wise, we're, like I said, we're on 97.3 and 104.1. Both of those frequencies are there for your enjoyment, but they both have their area. The 104.1 is primarily for Carthage, Robbins, West End, Seven Lakes, the northern part, and Sanford. And the 97.3 is to cover the Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen things. I picked this up as far as Hamlet. Coming in, it wasn't super strong down in Hamlet, but it was there. I could hear it, hear every word, and hear it clearly. It wasn't phasing in and out. It was solid signal.
And if you've got a smartphone, you can tune in, and that will come in loud and clear anywhere in the world where you've got a good signal.
That eats up very little bandwidth, so you're not going to eat up your data playing with that. It's not like TV that gobbles it up and gulps. It's just 64K coming in, which is very small. You can listen all month long, and you wouldn't even use a half a gig. I mean, that's 24/7 for 30 days. It would probably be less than 100 megs total. All right, 8:47. What we say we're going to do? Rim shots?
Yes.
Then, by golly, let's get it up here. Alrighty.
Let's just do the rim shots.
Robert Redford announced that he's retiring from acting. I read that in today's edition of Stuff We Wish Rob Schneider would say. Redford says he doesn't want to waste his talent by making movies just for the money, becoming a parody of his former self, because that, of course, is Robert De Niro's job. A woman who was given a C-section without anesthesia reportedly got a $25 gift card as an apology. Well, that seems appropriate, doesn't it? Not saying the woman. What she do with it? I'm guessing she bought Advil, but that's just a guess.
The OB doesn't understand that get this kid out of me now doesn't mean literally this second.
She could buy a bat to beat the anesthesiologist with.
Well, if there was one.
Kristen Davis, also known as the Manhattan Madam, will testify before Robert Mueller's grand jury this week. She won't lie under oath unless oath pays her $400 an hour. Osama bin Laden's son has reportedly married the daughter of a 911 kidnapper, or hijacker, I should say. I think it was Atta's daughter that married Osama's son.
Next place for a hellfire right there.
It's the first. Well, I'm surprised flames didn't burst out when they said I do and just cook them. It's the first wedding in history where the only things on the registry are turbans, box cutters, and toilet paper made out of American flags. A student at the Texas A&M took their graduation photos with a 14-foot alligator, which sounds dangerous, but is actually safer than some of the frat parties that they went to. A new study found that owning a pet increases your chances of being happy and successful. While owning a pet you constantly dress up in cowboy costumes increases your chances of being single and very sad. 3 California men chose to stay with their marijuana crop. Same thing. Crop. 3 California men chose to stay with their marijuana crop rather than flee from the massive wildfires. Either that or they just didn't feel like it. So, you know, it's kind of the mood you're in. No, man, that'd be work. I don't feel like that.
Dude, get the hose. The firestorm's coming in.
That's what I pay these taxes for, man. Put the fire out. Y'all get up here. All right, that's your rim shots for today. It is 8:50, 50 past the hour. Let's go chase some bad guys this morning. What do you say?
You, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had that tree, you go to school and
All right, my friends, it's time once again to draw in that big breath of air, strut across the floor like we own it. Open up our closet doors, look at all 30 of our Liberty Safes from Carthage City Sports, and today we're going to mosey on over to Liberty Safe number 16. Haven't been here in about a year. Open that bad boy up, let Matt reach in and grab the weapon of choice for today.
All right, Steve, this has some big guns in it. I'm going to give you an EAA-10 Foglia Witness. It's a 10-millimeter steel full-size pistol.
All right, we'll throw that into the shoulder holster, pin on our badge, grab 5 cans of Super Whoop-Ass as we now head out the door in relentless pursuit of some stupid criminal news. Stupid criminal news number 1 this morning. We usually associate the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia with freedom, but there's also a 35-year-old woman in southwest Illinois named Liberty Bell, and she just can't stop getting thrown into jail. Sounds like a start of a poem, doesn't it? Back in March, she got arrested after she locked herself out of a stolen car. And while she was out on bond, she was arrested in June for stealing a March of Dimes donation jar. Now she's in trouble again, this time for beating up her public defender. Right before the court appearance last Thursday, she attacked the woman who was supposed to represent her. I bet she resigned. Anyway, the woman ended up with a few scrapes and a pair of broken glasses, but she's okay, and I guess she's very dedicated to her client because she actually got the cops to charge Liberty with a misdemeanor when they could have charged her with a felony.
Probably wouldn't have happened if she hadn't been beaten up by her client.
I guess she was into it, so she wanted to get paid eventually. And of course, as you know, if the defendant can't pay, you do. Super Criminal News number 2 today, we've got a story of a 28-year-old guy named Sean Kelly from Spokane Valley, Washington, who will appreciate the irony of what happened to him one day. Last month, Sean was speeding when the police tried to pull him over. Sean wouldn't stop. And after a quick chase, he quickly pulled into a parking lot and ran into a sports bar. Well, the police went in there, looked for him, and someone pointed him out. He gave them his info, including his name and his phone number, and he swore he wasn't driving. And said he'd been at the bar all night. Well, the police noticed there was a phone number in the driver's seat of the car they had been chasing. So just as a test, they called the number Sean gave them, and that phone started ringing. But it gets better. Sean had a custom ringtone, Bad Boys, by Inner Circle, which everybody knows from the theme song to the TV show Cop,
which they know from this segment.
You know this one right here. That one. Anyway, Sean was arrested for attempting to elude police, obstruction, and driving with a suspended license. And that, my friends, is your stupid criminal news for this, what is this? Tuesday. Okay, yeah. Everybody wants that Bad Boys coming after them all the time.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Cops. I can't do it as well as that guy does it. He's got the second best voice out there. The best is Dude Walker, which we use. All right, 55 past the hour. Time for Matt's testosterone test right quick.
Yes.
We got to get this in.
Bring it on, girly man.
All right, girly boy. Well, let's see how much testosterone you have in yourself first.
Mornings with the girly man.
Football season has arrived with the first game, the Hall of Fame game, played last Thursday night. Who won the game?
The Eagles.
The Eagles, he says. You sure about that?
Yes.
You're wrong. It was the... If I can get it back up here.
Can't believe I'm wrong. I'm a huge sports fan.
It was the Ravens. What car engine part did electronic fuel injections replace?
The electronic fuel. What part did they replace? We'll say the carburetor.
No, it was the fuel pump. And who is the lead female star in Kill Bill 1 and Volume 2?
That woman.
There you go, Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman, that's it.
All right, 0 testosterone in you today. All right, here's questions for men that women will know the answer.
I'm sure I'll get them all right.
If the instructions told you to P1, K1, what would you be doing? Weight Watchers or knitting?
Oh, it must be knitting?
Ding, 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 ding. 4-1 knit 2. You see a woman wearing a bindi. Where on her body would it be? Her belly button or her forehead?
Her forehead. What's that got to do with?
Ding, 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 ding.
That's got to do with sociology and philosophy, not male.
That would be 2 correct. And your third question, in a preview for the second season of HBO Big Little Lies, what major movie star does Reese Witherspoon throw ice cream on? Is it Meryl Streep or Judi Dench?
Meryl Streep.
Ding, 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 ding. All right. Well, according to my tally, it's 3 estrogen points versus 0 testosterone points.
Man,
you have turned into a girly man this week.
I don't know how it works out that way.
I don't make this stuff up. I just issue the test.
You just skew it.
Okay. So it goes for this Tuesday. Have yourself a great safe today. We'll see you back bright and early tomorrow. You didn't ask for it. Had you asked, I would have given it to you. You see, Bright, you thought you were a real man. You don't need no damn multiple choice. We'll see you back bright and early tomorrow, 7 to 9 for a Hump Day Wednesday already. Until then, be sure to support all the mom and pops you hear on our airwaves, because they are the backbone of our economy here in Moore County. Money will stay here, roll over, and create jobs. And don't forget, millions of Americans have fought and they have died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. Live today worthy of their and their family sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams, the Leader Man, and Nick the Colt the Dog. We'll all see you at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the Dog Park.
And I'm Matt Horsley. Driving our traffic circles here reminds me that lots of people don't realize you don't have to stop for a yield sign. You just have to make sure you're yielding oncoming traffic. Stay tuned for Chris Plant, followed by Rush Limbaugh. Sean Hannity's at 3 and Mark Levin is at 6. And we'll be right back tomorrow for Mornings with the Leader Man.